Happy Tuesday, James chapter 2, verse 1. My brothers and sisters, show no partiality as you hold the faith of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Lord of glory. Literally, show no favoritism, or I should say, show no favoritism. Literally, this means do not receive each other by face. So that's the awkward Greek. Don't evaluate somebody on the basis of their skin color or physical appearance or social status or balance of their checking account or anything like that. The labels on their clothes. Do not judge people by the things that do not matter to God. Don't live that way. 4, if a man wearing a gold ring and fine clothing comes into your assembly, and a poor man in shabby clothing also comes in, and if you pay attention to the one who wears the fine clothing and say, you sit here in a good place, while you say to the poor man, you stand over there, or sit down at my feet, have you not then made distinctions among yourselves and become judges with evil thoughts? So it's clear that this kind of problem is going on in the church at the time that James is writing, which shouldn't surprise us all that much. For starters, we know that James is perhaps one of the very first letters, not the first letter, that was written that makes it into the New Testament canon. The church is very small, it's very poor, it's being persecuted, and so when people are suffering and struggling, some actually become more gracious, but many become less so. They're worried about their own survivability, and so Jerusalem at this time, that James is the leader, Jerusalem, called City of Peace, I mean literally, that's what it means, but it was less a city of peace then even than it is this day. So it wasn't an easy time, so it shouldn't surprise us that there is favoritism going on towards the rich, because some people are probably hoping that the rich are going to help them out. Secondly, it shouldn't surprise us that in the first century people played favorites, because we see that kind of activity down through the ages, including into today. These examples, and I'm working on this history podcast, appreciate John Dixon's book, Bullies and Saints, in which he talks about the bad things that have gone on in the church and says, let's just face them, let's own them, let's be truthful about what has happened. But he also talks about the saints. Tragically, there's more bullies, he says, than there are saints. But we could mention all kinds of examples from the past. Certainly, the bad things that have happened in the Crusades and the Inquisition, and more recently, the bad things that have happened or failed to happen as it related to the civil rights movement. We could go back to the life of Gandhi. Gandhi apparently, at one point said that he would become a Christian if he ever met one. He had been interested in Christianity, but had been escorted away from the church because his skin was not white. Can you imagine how different the world would be if we actually valued people who've been made in the image of God on the basis of the things that matter to God? So, big issues of justice and judgment in the book of James. We will continue on this theme. Have a good day.